The inspiration for my action research project came from an article posted on Everyday Feminism called To Bitch or Not to Bitch. And the author states, "The problem with bitch is that it is, frankly, not a very good word, linguistically speaking. It is rubbery, vague, and imprecise. When someone says, 'she's a real bitch,' you have to ask, 'What? What did she do? What do you mean?' The word tells you nothing informative about the woman. It tells you only that, basically, the person using the term is probably really mad and thinks the subject doesn't deserve air. Actually, when you study its use, you realize that a woman doesn't have to be anything but a woman to get called a bitch." For my action research project, I invited my participants, which included my 2 roommates and their 3 friends, whom I didn't know. I invited them to come to my apartment to have a comfortable setting to talk about the issue of derogatory language used by women towards other women. For my action research project, I showed my participants how the word bitch has been defined in both Webster's Dictionary and an Urban Dictionary, which gives examples of how the word is used in society today. The word bitch has been used to describe assertive women in positions of power, whereas men who have the same positions are seen as assuming their normal roles in society. For examples, I showed clips from Wolf of Wall Street that show the male boss as fun and ambitious. Then I showed clips from The Devil Wears Prada, which shows their boss as the ice queen or bitchy. The goal of my action research project was to get my participants to think about the words they use to describe both the women they know and the women they don't know, and to think critically about how the word bitch is demeaning towards women. I wanted to challenge them to stop using bitch as a descriptor and instead choose a better word that better describes the behavior of another person. My purpose in life is to be an advocate for women's rights by speaking out against gendered violence, sexism, and inequality, not only in the US but around the world. I will continue to educate those around me by being an encouraging, inspiring, and dedicated individual who leads by example. The main topics I took away from my book, Secrets About Life Every Woman Should Know, was whatever the question, love is the answer, and the purpose of life is for you to grow into the best human being you can be. These chapters are specifically important in my mission statement and action research project because I want to bring women together by bringing awareness of how they bring each other down, and by pushing women to be better to their fellow sisters. One quote from the book that really spoke to me, especially in regards to my leadership, was, "I knew too much to pretend I wasn't aware of exactly what was taking place. I was being asked to fully experience each and everything I was writing about while I was writing about it, and to practice every principle and technique I was offering you while I was offering it. In theory, it seemed very inspiring, but in all reality, it scared me to death." My leadership style is leading by example, because I can't give a presentation about not using the word bitch and not delete it from my own vocabulary in my everyday life. And so when I decided to do this action research project, I decided that I needed to make a change in my own life and to follow what I'm teaching others about derogatory language towards women. And so from now on, I made a promise to myself that I would delete all words that portray women in a negative light and any other word that demeans a human life. After my action research project was over, I started thinking about what it all meant. What did my participants get out of it? What more could I do? The feedback I was given was everything I could have hoped for. They were thinking about the words they used. Maybe they would change their word choice when describing women, and maybe they won't. But they will have thought about it, and maybe even considered using a better word. And that is change in itself. Changing how people think is the first step to changing how people act. So next time, just use a better word.